We're going to kickstart our community forum. Beautiful, thank you. Thank you so much, firstly, for being here. It's such a big crowd here today, so thank you for being here at our community forum for Baffle Creek. We've got some people here to share some information with you and to talk with you and listen to you today at our forum. We've got Councillor Patrick here, we've got Councillor McClintock here, and Councillor Davis. My name is Kylie Lee. I'm the General Manager for Community and Lifestyle. Jacob Davis is here to talk about roads. He's our new Manager of Road Program Delivery. Yay! We've got Lara Fidelto here. She's in our brand and communications team, and Chloe Hutchinson. So Chloe's actually my partner in crime. So she helps me do the things that I need to do. So today we're recording this session. This session is only recorded so that we can share it with other people who can't be here today. So we'll share that information with them on our conversations page. What we'll do first is give you a few updates on some key things that are relevant to your community. Then we'll talk about some of the questions that you've asked us on the forum. And then after we have this particular sharing of information session, we'll go into what we call topic tables, which is your opportunity to talk with our councillors, to talk with our managers, and just to talk to our team, and an opportunity for us to listen to you. So that's how we'll do that. We shared a little bit of information at the little registration desk. It's very official and formal. So there was some information about some of the renewable projects that I know you were interested in. There's also a few other little things that could be helpful. You don't need to wait for a community forum to ask a question. You can ask a question at any time. This card here has got all of your councillors' information on it, and their not their private mobile phones, their work phones. This one here is also Build and Develop, so it's our new newsletter that goes to your inbox that talks about all planning and development, so that's kind of useful as well. This card here is if you've got a question that you wanted to log with council. This is our info at Gladstone, so you can email us and we can talk to you, or you can just call us 700 700. All right, so the first part is our key update section. So I will hand over to Councillor Davis and she'll share some information with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kylie. Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for turning up today, because it does mean a lot to us councillors. I just wanted to say a little bit first before I do give you an update. When I got into council, and I know with Councillor Patrick, Councillor McClintock and a few of the other councillors, we really pushed hard to have these forums so that you have accessibility to us as councillors. I know prior to that, you did have accessibility, but we feel that these are working well, and we really encourage people to turn up, and also just contact us at any time. Reach out if you have an issue. So I think it's really important for us to be able to have, community members telling us what is important to them in these little communities as well. So I really do thank you for turning up today. My first message is about the Rural Fire Brigade down here at Wartburg and the new facility discussions. Council is aware that the Wartburg Rural Fire Brigade, I'm just going to go behind the table because it's easier with the paper, The fire brigade has been asked to vacate its current premises by the owner of the property, and council is currently in discussions to lease facilities at the Wartburg Sporting Grounds to the organisation. Discussions with council leasing officers are ongoing and have not yet been finalised. So that's the update we have for that. If you need any further discussions on that, we're happy to discuss that at the topic tables today. So if there's anything further, please bring that up at the topic tables. And now Councillor McClintock has got some updates on the Rutherglen BESS project.
I get all the nice easy ones. Awesome. Oh, that's nice and loud. There we go. Good afternoon, everybody. If I haven't met you, I'm Simon, and it is a privilege to be here this afternoon. Basically, I'm kind of keen actually to talk about this stuff, not specifically Rutherglen, though there is a couple of things here in that, but just helping community understand what the role is for council, what the role is for community, and how that now works, because this is an ever-changing thing, and it is something that has had a lot of changes over the last particularly 6 months or so. as we've had new legislation come into place, as we had some changes as to how this all looks and what are the expectations for the developers that are coming into these regions and what they have to do for community. So I've got a couple of different ones here, but I'll start with this Rutherglen one, and we'll touch on a couple later on, I think. But we did a community benefit agreement probably a couple of months ago now. It's an opportunity for the council to enter into an agreement of the expectations of, if this project goes ahead, of what are the minimum requirements they would have to do. Now, in December 26, as I said, they did have a change of legislation that basically shifted the assessment authority, so who's in charge of letting this go ahead or not, away from local government, away from council and into state hands. But as a part of that process, they implemented an opportunity for council to have input into what they believe would be best for the way for that to serve the community that it lands in. So council, the biggest thing out of the takeaway from this is that council doesn't get to say yes or no to these projects. That doesn't mean that we don't want to hear what you think about them or that we don't need to have those conversations with you. Absolutely happy to have those, but it is really important to know that we don't have that say as to whether this goes or doesn't go. But what we can do and what we are happy to do is help connect you with those right places and spaces to have that input, because there are still avenues for you to do that. So the CBA, which is the Community Benefit Agreement, to give you a little bit of background on what that looks like, it's basically an agreement between the community, or the council operates it obviously, but it's community and a developer that is informed by another acronym, an SIA, which is their Social Impact Agreement. So they have to do a whole heap of studies as to what they're going to impact, how they're going to impact onto the community, onto roads, onto infrastructure, what sort of an impact they're going to have into the neighbourhood, into the immediate neighbours. It all goes into this big document, and then out of that document, they've got to come up with some ways that they're actually going to reimburse or to benefit the community from this project. So council set about that, obviously, sorry, if I wind back a little bit, that came into play with very little guardrails as to what that benefit could look like. And so what that meant is that lots of local governments had different approaches to how they were doing it. Some people made them build houses, some people made them give lots of money, some people were making them do all sorts of different things, and it became very confusing. So what we've tried to do is put a policy together. We did a lot of research. We talked to a whole heap of different LGAs, not just in Queensland, but in other states as well, who have been doing similar sort of things. And we've come up with a policy that actually tells you, or tells them, what are the minimum requirements for them to actually get an agreement with us.
Don't want to be rude, but what is the Rutherglen project you're talking about?
So the Rutherglen project is a BESS, so it's a battery storage system. So the Rutherglen BESS, sorry. So yeah, the BESS project that has been, it went through council. And probably the biggest thing that I really, really want and I'm happy to have this conversation with anyone too, to help unpack and understand what that process looks like. A CBA, or a community benefit agreement, is not an explicit, we agree with this project. It is council has to have an agreement with them before it can get to the place where it actually gets rejected or agreed with by the state. They assess it, they put their stamp of approval or rejection on it. But before they can even look at it, and before they'll even look at it, we have to have an agreement in place as to what those community benefits would look like should it go ahead. So we have been very clear, and it is very clear with the state government, that this is not in any way imply any type of agreement with a project or that we are supporting a project. Simply we are doing the task that we have to do, which is have an agreement in place. And if we don't do that, we circle the drain, we end up in court with them, they end up doing a whole lot of things. It just gets really, really messy, and it ends up in the same place anyway. So the CBA is a necessary step so that it can get to that assessment point where everybody, and yourselves included, get a chance to have input and say your piece of that feedback, so that you can tell them how you're thinking about it. Maybe you love it, maybe you don't, but you get to let them know exactly what it is in that process there. So I don't think you probably want to know heaps of the details, but basically lots of our policy is aimed around them giving a certain monetary contribution, so it's $150 per megawatt hour a year into a fund that we can then do things in the community with. It's also an annual 5% contribution towards admin. Lots of details here, but the short version is there's lots of prerequisites, but then on top of what they have to do there, they have to deliver their own community benefit sharing program as well. So that means that they have to come up with some process or program where they actually are supporting the immediate community themselves and they operate it and they'll figure out what that looks like. But it is a requirement of our CBA that they do that on top of the contributions that they make through this other part of the policy here. That could look like having employment opportunities for people locally. It could be a financial contribution to sporting clubs. It can be all sorts of different things. It'll look different for each different project, and that's something that they'll work out themselves as they go through. But if you have any more questions about the specifics of this project here, happy to unpack them, but I won't bore everybody with all the details of what that agreement looks like.
Where's it going to go? What area is it going to go in?
That's a great question. It's sort of near Miriam Vale. Actually, it's a great question. It's one of those, there's a whole heap of random little ones with different names and bits and pieces on it. But there's I think this is the one on Red Hill Road. Is that the Rutherglen one? Yes. So if you go onto our website, there is actually a map that will show you where all of these different projects are and the status of where they're up to, whether they've just applied, whether they've done their CBA, whether they're in process of being applied to, and it'll actually show you where they are specifically as well so that you can keep up to date with what's going on rather than, as you can tell, there's a lot of different names and random things that they give it creative names so you don't really know where to go and find them. So we can give you the details for that mapping as well, or give you a link to go to that if you'd like as well.
And the last one, how they go, these basically do go to pay, how they go to put them out?
That's a great question, and that's...
Any fire brigade.
Yep.
World.
Yep, and that's part of what they have to come to terms with the state government as the assessment authority. They have to comply with all of the requirements, and I don't have the answers to that. Yeah, I'm not a battery expert. I won't pretend to be one. I won't pretend to give you an answer to something like that. But there's some real concerns, and genuinely, people are concerned about stuff just like that. And it's worth voicing those concerns to the right place, but we can point you in that right direction as well.
Does this project include the planning for the Hills Road site?
Couldn't tell you that off the top of my head right now. Happy to sit down and look at this specific project if you'd like.
So I just want to know if that's all under this project or different.
Let's sit down and have a look at some of the details and make
It's
sure
a
we've got the
different
right thing
project.
in the right spot.
Yeah, Simon will touch on that.
There's also some fact sheets about that front.
There is. So I've got another one here. We folded ourselves over here.
The reason why we're probably, Simon's having a look at that, the reason why we are bringing this information and we feel it's important to share with community is because there are members, not just from Baffle Creek here today, they're from other parts of the region. So this is an educational piece that affects our entire region, not just one particular area. So we have a number of these projects, there is a number of them, that are lining up that will be going through the same process with the CBA, which is the Community Benefit Agreements, and we'll be going through to state government. I think the message that we're trying to portray here and the questions that you have been asking are really needed to go to the state government because we have the same questions too. So, yeah, we have been giving feedback. I know that our development department have been giving feedback, but the ultimate decision maker is state government. So we are here to advocate on your behalf, but also tell you to advocate for residents to the state government. No, that's okay. In this particular, normally development applications come to local government And it is a real concern to local government that the state government has taken those powers away from local government as well.
So, that was pretty loud. wasn't it?
Very recently, yeah. This is why we're doing a whole educational piece on it in the last 12 months.
Specific to these battery and solar developments. So, where as far as it comes to renewables, so the state has taken that power back away for themselves to actually do that, and this is where we will definitely have a part to play in that, and we do in the CBA. We have very clear expectations, but we also do have a conversation with them. We do have feedback for ourselves. But what we need and what gives it power is when the community has a voice as well. You're happy to share those with us, absolutely. But we would just be being a middle person, which we can do as well. But there is a great power in being able to have those voices directly to the state government so that they're not just hearing a local government representative, they're hearing the community firsthand as well. It's very, very powerful and very, very important, but hear your point.
Simon, can I ask 2 questions?
Yes.
If an Australian company that's going to benefit from this, that's one question. The other question, how the battery is going to be disposed of at the end of life? Because from what I understand, the government has not been able to come up with a solution that's environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
So is that going to be stipulated as they have to have a solution that's not on government?
So end of life is a part of the process. That is definitely part of the process. Exactly what that looks like, I could only guess because it's not us that's making that decision process.
Again, it's the state government.
The state government will be making that decision, but I know that end of life processes are a part of that conversation. But again, these are the sort of things that when you give a feedback point, ask those questions because they really do read through them. They do have to answer some of those and come up with solutions to some of those as well.
And my other question, is it an Australian company that's going to benefit from?
I don't know, but I would be able to put some money on it. But yeah, I don't think so. I couldn't tell you each and every single project that's around there, but most of them are have varying different stakeholders in it, overseas, local, all sorts of different people.
So with those questions, I've just got some information here. They need to be submitted to, or the decisions are made by the state government through the State Assessment and Referral Agency, which is the acronym for that is called ZARA. But you can go to the website and we can give you that website link if you have some really important questions which you've raised here today. We would really strongly encourage you to get that link from us, and please ask those questions to the state government because they are very similar questions to what we have too. Makes it really hard for us to advocate for community when the power is taken from us, and it was taken from us. So the whole community benefit assessment was put on us by state government, so they took away our power to approve the developments. And then we had to have the community benefit assessment made within a very short time frame, which we actually thought was quite unfair by the state government. But we have done that, and we have done it to the very best of our ability. And Gladstone Regional Council has had one of the first, the Rutherford, Glen Rutherford project was the first that has gone through with the state government. So this is why we are really trying to educate our community on the process and how to give the right information and ask the right questions to the right people. That's why it's really important. So I know it may not be this particular project might not be in this particular area, but there may be in time one that comes up. So it's really important that people are aware of this information. Yeah, and the process. So,
Yeah. Even though it's out of our area,
yeah,
it still affects us.
absolutely, absolutely. And that is and any of the questions, honestly, that you're asking us are the questions that we are having as well. And that's why we, as a council, have given that feedback to the state government, but we're trying to empower you as residents, and that's following along from what Councillor McClintock is saying, really empowering you as residents to get behind your local representatives as well, to advocate, do that piece of advocation. And if you want to object to the application that the state government is assessing, then you need to use that website. Yep.
Sorry, Councillor, we just have a question over here.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Hi. Thank you very much for coming down and educating us on how everything works. We have a state representative.
Yes, Stephen Bennett?
Yes.
Yes.
Recently, we've been asked to submit some things because that may be changing, changing to Callide.
Yeah.
So when are we going to know who to, because they represent us on a state level, so that's who we're going to go to and complain to?
Absolutely.
Do you know when we're going to know who?
Yeah. So
sorry. And I was also going to ask, do you know too, because we pretty much know as a community how Stephen Bennett feels on these sort of things. Do you know how, I'm sorry, I forget his name at the moment, but do you know how he feels?
Bryson Head?
Yes, coming from a mining sort of area.
I can't speak for Bryson Head, but I have been asked this question since the new boundaries were put out, the proposal for the new boundaries have been put out. This is what I'm telling residents to do, is I can't give you a time. I don't know when those new boundaries will be set in concrete, but what I am absolutely encouraging residents who will be affected with that is start talking to Bryson Head. Because if you do happen to have that realignment done, then Bryson Head is the person that you need to be speaking about. So I can't speak on Bryson Head's beliefs.
So are you saying it's going to happen?
No, I'm not saying that either. But as a community member who may have concerns, I would be speaking to both of them. Because if it does happen, you've already started those conversations. If it doesn't happen, you already know where Stephen Bennett's where he stands on those particular things. So please, that's the only advice I can really give you, not knowing when that boundary decision will be made, but start having those. Oh, sorry, Kylie.
So the state boundary changes will happen with the election for the next state election. So 2028.
2028.
2028.
Oh, okay. I had to have my submission in by
next week.
Thursday.
Yeah.
I had to have my submission in by last Thursday, so I figured there must be a date coming up soon.
Yeah.
Government is known for its speed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But again, I would be really getting to know Stephen. You already know Stephen Bennett, but Bryson Head quite well. Because,
I'd say probably just to add to that, send it to both. Yeah. Why not? It can't hurt. And at worst case, he's got a little bit of visibility to it should that change happen. If not, you've got someone else sitting in that parliament that actually knows what's going on as well. So absolutely no qualms in sending an email to two people. It costs you the same amount. Yeah. And Bryson Head is really approachable. He's really approachable. And tall.
And very tall. You can't miss him. So.
Bennett holidays here.
Yeah. And
he supports the area.
Absolutely.
We see his head, even whether we like him or not, we see him a lot.
Absolutely.
So he's definitely someone that's known.
And I think I personally shared it on my councillor Facebook page, my personal councillor Facebook page, because I want people to know what's happening so that they can be actively engaged in what is happening and giving that feedback to the appropriate people. Because you can tell me, but I'm not the appropriate person. So, yeah. But honestly, I would be talking to both of them and getting to know both of them because, and again, I can't tell you when that decision is made. But, yeah. Oh, so moving along.
Deepwater Creek.
Yes, we're moving along to Deepwater Creek flood studies. And as we know, the southern region has been affected, obviously, with some very intense weather situations currently. And we hope that you're getting the support that you need, and if you aren't, please come and see us about getting the support that you need with the appropriate agencies as well. But with the flood study, Council is undertaking a flood study of the Deepwater Creek catchment, including a detailed survey of the creek bed. And you've tried to knock me out. Thank you. These studies aim to improve Council's understanding of local flood hazards and provide essential flood mapping and risk information for the deep water community and the area that has not previously been studied in details, because we know that our weather events are changing and landscapes are changing, so it's really important that this work is being undertaken. The outcomes of these studies being conducted by specialist consultants who are specialists will inform updates to the flood hazard overlays within the Gladstone Regional Planning Scheme, ensuring future development is appropriately managed. Council undertook community engagement in October through to November 2025. Consultants are currently developing the study, which is expected to be presented to Council in mid-2026. Yes?
People took place in that because I have a feeling that people were more critical about that study that was put up.
Sure.
Sorry, the only reason we're using microphones, just so you know, is so that the recording works. Otherwise, we'd probably just use our really loud voices. I don't have that on me, but let me see if I can find out for you, if that's okay.
I feel like a lot of those studies we have had in the past, and there might be I'm saying now 5 people, and that's not representative.
It's not representative, yeah. Let me find out for you, is that okay?
Yes.
May I just add to that as well?
Sure.
Like in October, November, we had the meeting here, I gave in-depth support for them and information, and
Sure.
I have not heard anything from them as follow-up with regards to the previous. Yeah, it was bad. Even on the northern side of the causeway, it was the worst I've seen in 20 odd years.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sit with you.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah, I'll come sit with you after we do that.
Yeah.
And sure. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for that feedback, and Kylie will come and sit with you. So, Kylie, when you first introduced yourself, did you say that you were the general manager of? Oh, okay, cool. So she's our expert. So that's why please don't think we don't know what we're doing. But these are specialists who are employed in the operations of council, and that's why they are with us, so that we can address these types of things. So I am now going to hand over to Karen, and she's going to talk about the planning scheme and tourist amendments.
Thanks, Leanne. I'm not sure if everyone's aware, but I'm also council appointed to our tourism board, GAPDL. So if anyone does want to talk anything about tourism or the new planning scheme for tourism, just give me a tap afterwards, and we'll have a chat. So at the moment, we're doing some planning scheme amendments and indirectly through the tourism. The amendment aims to simplify the approval pathways for the small scale and low impact tourism ventures, particularly agro-tourism and eco-tourism, and which I know you have some in this area. Community and stakeholder engagement commenced in February of this year, including meetings with key tourism stakeholders and council officers. At Agnes Water, we've done that at the Rural Transaction Centre and to gather community feedback. Further announcements will be made throughout the year for more community awareness and feedback options. Residents are encouraged to subscribe to the Build and Develop Bulletin. You can do that via the Council's Planning Scheme Amendment Hub to stay up to date with those, which are on the flyer as well. And we'll put that at the front, there at the front. Inquiries can be directed to ourplace@gladstone.qld.gov.au, but that's all on the flyer. Also, the planning scheme amendments for the Agnes Water area. As part of the 10-year planning scheme review, further investigations into Agnes Water and the town of 1770 were recommended. Council is currently preparing a 3-year schedule of the planning scheme amendments, which are made available on the community comments in 2026 prior to adoption. The Council's Planning Scheme Amendment Hub and Build and Develop Bulletin provides for the community to stay informed and participate in the process. A draft 3-year roadmap has been prepared and will be released for community consultation alongside the tourism amendments. One of the draft includes a major engagement project for Agnes Water area and Town of 1770, which hopefully will include this area as well. So I really encourage people to get on to that website and have your say or attend the community events that will be happening in relation to that. They're still being developed at this stage, but we'll have those highlighted on our website when those will be happening. So just if you can stay on top of that, and it'd really be great for more people to attend if you're in that tourism and planning, if you've got any issues with the planning scheme. And I will hand over to Jacob from our roads. Yes? Yeah, look, GAPDL are on top of that at the moment, and they're on their website. I'm not sure if you've been on their website, but they have got some numbers up there at the moment, especially with what's happened recently and what's happening worldwide at the moment. And they're putting out some help there as well. So, like, if you are a member of GAPDL, please reach out to them because they've got some feedback and some help sort of services at the moment. So, yeah, really encourage you to, if you are a tourism operator in any shape, form, to talk to GAPDL. Okay.
Thanks, everyone. All right, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jacob Davis. I'm the new Manager of Roads Program Delivery. I've been here for about 2 months, so I will plead a bit of ignorance. But yes, I love to hear your opinions about everything and your local knowledge. Yeah, I'm here all day, so... So I've got a bit of CapEx projects that I'll talk to you about. They're pretty standard, the two at the top. So basically how the maintenance works, which we'll put under CapEx, is any sealed roads, we'll come over and do a resheet on them when they start falling apart. This is a very difficult task. It's a very highly costly task, and we need funding from governments and grants to actually keep on top of our sealed network. We have about 800, 900 kilometres of sealed roads in the Gladstone Regional Council. We don't have anywhere near enough funding to seal all of those roads for a reseal, but we do our best to hit the collector roads as a priority and then work our way through the other ones. Yes?
We've got over 500 residents properties in Baffle Creek Deepwater alone, average of about $2,000 a year, rate get over $1 million. Not $3,000 to 1 kilometre, Gladstone Council quote.
So, this is a few numbers. To do 1 kilometre of rehabilitation is $1 million.
On your council page, it's $93,000.
It's to do a full rehab, drainage, culverts, it's $1 million. It's, I know, it's everywhere. I come from northern New South Wales. They're even more expensive.
I'm just going to say it, right? And this is not disrespectful. I feel the same way about the federal government.
Yeah.
You work for us. Yeah. We put you there. Mm-hmm. You don't do what you want. You do what needs to be done in our community.
Correct.
And I feel the same way about Albanese and Liberal and Labor and everything else.
It really upsets me the government thinks that once they're in there, they can just do whatever they want with the money. If you say you're going to do something with money, do it. Stop putting it off.
I've got a good little bit. I've figured out a way to save us some money at the end. So. It is tough. Roads are one of our most expensive assets in council. It's just a large amount of work and a large amount of earthworks to get these things right. That one's not me.
If we can get to the end of the questions here, we've got after this session, we're here to talk to you for as long as you want us to talk to you for. Okay? Sure. Yeah. Okay.
But the roads are already there. And Carl's Hill, so you've got to take that out of the equation because the roads are there. They now need to. Carl Hill came up with a very good idea, and that was because somebody in council said, but whose road do we do first? And he said, no, don't do anyone's road first. Do 1 kilometre of each road first. So over the years, it just keeps on going further, and then finally, our roads are sealed. Because at the moment, most of our cars are getting wrecked driving on these roads. I know Matchbox Road has only just had a work done, and there's already potholes coming in again. And then there's the corrugation. It's even, like when it gets really bad, you're coming around that corner, it's dangerous. It's not just a matter
people that do our roads don't do them properly.
But the last time before this time, they were done.
Right, can I just jump in there? So when there's an established road, a reseal, so that's when we come over top with a nice little bitumen layer, they're a lot cheaper. So what I was talking about was a full rehabilitation, and we don't need them on a lot of the areas. So yes, you're correct. And we have funding in the next every financial year to do reseals on every road. So the first two we've got is Rosedale. So we've got McPherson Street. There's 280 metres on McPherson Street. And then we have Diamond Hill Road, which is 250 metres of reseal. So those two are focused just due to we'll get the best bang for our buck there, and they're deteriorating it for the asset.
Are you talking about roads that have already got bitumen on them?
Yes.
No, I'm talking about the roads that we drive on that are unsealed.
Yeah, so that's what we need to look at, and with population and the level of safety we need to look at. And the best ones for, say, your Matchbox Road, they'll be a low-cost seal. They're in between a gravel road and a sealed road, but it looks like a sealed road, but those low-cost seals, they hold it together a lot better, and you reduce the rutting.
Sorry, yes, that's a really good, that's a great point and a great way forward. However, what happens when the floods come? Because that road is that just
So drainage needs to be focused first. So we need to fix culverts, we need to fix drainage before we start shaping the roads with the seal.
Can we just let Jacob finish his presentation, and then we will have the topic tables afterwards that we can discuss all this stuff?
We want it on video.
Yeah, it's still be in video, so yeah.
It's just that in previous council spaces and the newsletter and everything like that, each year they put out the budget, which roads, which causeways and everything like that. The money's been allocated for that, and it doesn't get done. That money's gone somewhere else.
So a lot of that funding is grant funding, but we can talk about that on video or in the thing, but we'll get there.
Is it cheaper to do a drain than to keep repairing the roads?
Yes. We'll have a chat.
Can I just say something too? When they spend all this time and effort, they grade the roads and they get them beautifully, why don't they just go a little bit further and seal it then instead of wait till they wreck and go back?
I'll have a good chat with you after. It's not as simple as that because you've got a maintenance on top of seals. So the maintenance cost, we don't have the funding, and then a sealed road when it's falling to pieces will rip up your car a lot more than a gravel road falling to pieces. So and then you have I'll come through and rip up that sealed road and put a gravel road back in for safety, and it doesn't look good. So, all right, next one, Low Mead Road. So this is a bit of a fun one. I don't know if any of you have driven Low Mead. It's been closed, so hopefully not. But the works, stage 2, the bridge has been completed, but the wet weather has destroyed a lot of one lane there due to the drainage issues because it's very flat. There's not much gradient getting away. So under federal and state funding, we've been given permission and the funds to build that back up to level and fix the drain. So it's a bit of a win for local government to get that fully repaired under state and federal costs. I don't have an ETA on when that's going to be fully open, but I drove it the other day. We only have, can't think of Gin Creek, I think it is, to fix and build, and then we're good to have that open.
Can I ask?
Yes?
The reason for Lomé Road being done up, is that because you're eventually going to close down Essendon Bridge? Because that's the rumour. Send the traffic from Bundy to Miriamvale?
The clause, I'm new. I've inherited Lowmead. As far as I know, no, nothing.
Okay, because after like the 13 floods and that bridge was damaged.
Yeah.
And repairs over the years have been done. But if you're going to do up Lowmead Road from Lowmead to Finkelward Road, I know that road reasonably well, then you're going to have to do up Gorge Road for us local residents if you're going to close down Essendon.
I've heard nothing about the bridge being closed down or any rumours of such. I will have a look and talk to State about it, but no news, so. I had a good chat with Carl Hill about a week ago for about 2 hours, so he didn't mention anything about Essendon Bridge with me. Yes. Yes. Yeah, he's a very knowledgeable bloke in the local area, so he's a good little asset. Okay, Coast Road. I don't know if we've announced that, have we? Okay. Breaking news. So Coast Road has been approved for funding for a full upgrade to get it to a 1 in 10 year or 10% flood year. We go away from the 1 in 10 year because then everyone goes, oh, well, it flooded 2 years in a row. It's a 10% flood. So the one we've just got, Coast Road, would still go with this upgrade, but it's going to be starting on the program I saw next year, so 2027 in January. It will be a whole year long, so there's going to be a lot of roadworks on Coast Road. But once it's done, all the culverts and everything will be built up to a level that minor flooding will not occur.
Just one thing.
Yes.
January, February, March is probably not a good time to start.
And that's great feedback. I'm guessing tourism? Yes. Oh, okay. New South Wales. We don't get your monsoons down there. I'll definitely provide that feedback because we don't want these big variations as you see in a lot of projects. So it might be a very smart idea to just push the start date back. Yeah. The next thing is the flood recovery works. So a lot of you down here were affected by the floods. It's happened. We couldn't have done anything to stop the floods. It was act of God. What we've done is we've applied for funding from Queensland Reconstruction Authority. They are 75% federal, 25% state, and they will allow us to repair all damage done by the floods. You'll see our guys everywhere around here getting photos, getting the network. I've got a full spreadsheets here. If you want to talk about your roads or anything, hopefully they're on there. If they're not, let me know and we'll get them inspected. That's what we're submitting. That will hopefully, what we've been told, but it hasn't been approved yet, is every unsealed road will get a medium formation grade funded under them.
Is that going to be an ongoing thing?
18 months we've got to deliver it.
Okay.
So what will happen...
You're putting in something to get money.
Yes.
Is that going to be set in concrete for every year? Because
no.
Okay, because we live on a floodplain.
Yeah.
Our roads go under.
Yes, they do.
Our bridges go under. We live on a floodplain.
You do, yes.
So it's going to be an ongoing thing every time it floods.
Yeah.
Like we haven't had a decent flood really in about 4 years. This was only a minor flood. Compared to the 17 flood, which is the 40-year flood, and the 13 flood, which was the 100-year flood. Prior to the 13 flood, we would flood 4 times a year.
Yeah, it's something that happens. You're going to get locked in here.
Yes, yeah. So that's what I'm asking: is the funding going to be ongoing for every flood that we have?
It depends on federal government if they want to keep this up. But ideally, I've been going around doing this stuff for the last 6-7 years. I have never had a problem with flood recovery works, bushfire recovery works. It's pretty self-explanatory. Everyone wants to help the community. So what we'll do, and this is what I've pointed out to a few residents that have contacted me about it, it gets very frustrating as you'll see a crew come out and they'll only do 1 kilometre of road. That is very frustrating because you go, the rest of the road's stuffed. So what that's all about is we have funding in this next 3 months to do the absolute dangerous parts. So it's fully funded by state and federal. We do the absolute that can cause serious injury areas. We still drive to conditions, but even driving to conditions, it's dangerous. So they'll come out, they'll repair all that, that's fully funded. Then once this is all approved, this whole big report, then we'll come and do the whole network of unsealed roads. We have 18 months to deliver that. In-house, we won't be able to complete that task. So in the last 6 months of that, we'll start getting contractors in to make sure we get every single road. And
check with the contractors, because I feel like there were last year they did something on Blackwater and they did half the job.
I've heard this, and yes, I'll personally be checking in on them and checking the QA. We have there's an Oz Road standard and an Australian Road standard and an Engineering Australian standard. They're all in there. We have a standard we've got to build a road to. If it's not adequate, they go back and do it. It's black and white.
Why don't they do that now?
They should be.
They don't.
Yes.
They do their work, there's no council there checking up after their work, they leave all our drains chock-a-block full of shit.
Let me know. I'm rightly or wrongly, I'll give you my number.
No more standards in Queensland for the road.
There is Oz Roads, Engineering Australia, and there's another big one we use all the time for standards. They have to be built to those standards.
Is NADA testing done on the soil, like at the impact?
Yep, so our quarries that we get the rocks from, NADA tested.
No, actually on the road, so I used to work for an engineering company.
Yep.
I used to go out there and do
The golf balls, yeah, we do that on a lot of them. On our capital works, we do the NADA testing. On our maintenance grades, no. All right, that's me. But I'm here. I can talk to you all. I know roads is a very passionate topic, and I'm very passionate about roads, so please let me know your feedback. I love it. I'm in my community. So please just have a chat with me and I can write it all down. We can do it on camera. Happy for it to be recorded.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you. Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks, Jacob. So we're moving on. They were our key updates that we wanted to share with you. Now we wanted to answer some of the questions that you've given us through our conversations platform. So I think you guys actually topped the pops. I think the most questions I've ever seen at a community forum. So thank you for that. That allows us to be prepared to answer you, so that we've got the right information to share with you. So we're going to go through the questions now. The councillors will take you through the answers that our officers have prepared for you. And then if we want to discuss it further, happy to at our topic tables. And we'll keep the video rolling if everyone wants to do that. That's fine, it's not a problem. Okay, so I'll hand over to Councillor Davis. Thank you.
Thanks, Kylie. It's me again. So we have had some community questions about some stuff down here at Baffle Creek. I'm not going to go through this specific question, but I'm just going to provide you some feedback. So it was in relation to the community centre here. So the Baffle Creek Community and Corporation BCCI holds a lease with council until October 2030. Council officers have recently undertaken inspections of the facility and reviewed the governance documents. At this time, Council has no reason to breach the BCCI on their lease. The committee of the non-for-profit is elected annually by its members at the annual AGM. Council understands the recent AGM was held on the 28th of February this year, where the current committee was endorsed. Council does not manage or appoint the committee for a non-for-profit organisation. If community members have any concerns about the organisation meeting its obligations, they can contact the Office of Fair Trading Queensland. If there is any more questions on this topic, we were happy to discuss them at the topic tables today. And then I will hand over to Councillor Patrick.
Okay, yeah. there we go. So the question that was sent in deals with, this comes under the heading of community access facilities and services. So the question was, can we please have a section of the council grounds at Baffle Creek allocated for an Anzac memorial? So the feedback that we'd like to share with community today is council's happy to discuss this proposal with the RSL Queensland to identify a suitable location within the site. Any proposal would need to be supported by the RSL Queensland. The project would then be progressed in partnership with Council, the RSL Queensland and Council Lands Management Office. I think that was it for that one. Okay, sorry, I keep going. Sorry, flick over my page. We then had a question. The BCCI is the Disaster Relief Centre. Many of the facilities remain incomplete. Can GRC help fund for necessary completion? So what I can share with you is the Baffle Creek Community Centre is leased to the BCCI. In this lease, there is a clause that in the event of a civil emergency, which is a flood or fire, the facility can be commandeered for the purpose of setting up a place for refuge, which is shelter, storage or logistics, etc. GRC must provide verbal notice to BCCI to do this. Each emergency is different and the place of refuge are selected based on the sustainability and safety of community. One of Council's main place of refuge for this area is actually the Miriam Vale Community Centre, which has recently been upgraded with grant funding. So the next question.
One road in, one road out.
Yep, good point. So that would be under our disaster management to make that call. So Council, if that was the case, then Council would have to ask the BCCI to be activated.
I can add to that, it's not only just the BCCI, the men's shed, which is just through there, is in the same boat. In the disaster areas, you've got councils in total.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
It's in all council leases if you have a look at it.
Yeah, thank you. Just to answer that, normally in a disaster, we will really consider where is the best place for the place of refuge, and that there's a whole lot of factors that we do. We've had recovery hubs here before, which has been amazing to have. When we have facilities that don't have everything that we need, we will bring them in temporarily. So that is how we work at the moment. That said, there's also, as Jacob was referring to before, there is a lot of funding opportunities for disasters and disaster preparedness. So we've actually upgraded the Miriam Vale Community Centre for that reason under those fundings. So that's something that we could potentially look at in the future.
Sorry, wasn't that question that you just read about it, wasn't it that isn't there money to fund this facility here? Because what I understand was that apparently there are certain things that are not finished, so that we would get the money to finish those things, so that there is a proper place for people to find refuge.
That we were talking about the disaster funding for Miriam Vale.
No, for here.
That was for the road network.
You said Miriam Vale.
It was for this shed or the shed over there, because that was built as the disaster shed.
That's right.
Not this shed that then I got transferred to here.
It was given to the.
That was the question, yes.
Group, that was.
Yeah,
and
that was.
We lost this shed for 6 months during 2013, so that's why that was built.
So the sport and rec officer at the time,
Cheryl Barrett,
she saw a need because the sport and rec lost 6 months of everything. We couldn't do a thing because this shed became a disaster relief shed. She saw that need, got all the grants, all the funding, got all the applications, and built the shed that's over there that has become the art shed. That was, she handed us a set of keys. Cheryl and I were both on the committee at the time. We met with her down here. She handed us a set of keys. She said, ultimately it comes down to this is a council shed, but we're giving you a set of keys to be able to utilise it as a second space. In the event of a disaster, anything that happens,
I think 75% of the shed had to be
removed so that council could come in and use it.
everything either had to be completely removed or packed down to 20% so that council could then move in to that shed and manage relief as a disaster relief. Now, sometime between
2014.
So somewhere between 2014 and today, one of the committees decided, no, we'll turn that into an art shed and the disaster management can come back to this shed. No, that's not the agreement that was done back in 2014.
Okay, I'm going to have a look at that one for you because I'm only 8 years in council, so I don't have all the history. But can I chat with you after this? Is that okay? Thank you.
I think what we would like to ask is there any funding? I don't think it should come out from the sports club to fix up the disaster shed. So the question is from the community, is there any fundings that will help to get whatever shed will be decided and may not be standard?
So primarily a refuge here because of
I guess that meant, like, for example, that small box we had those a couple of weeks ago, we wouldn't be able to go here. So we were able to get here. So we were able to get here, but not further.
No, but
It's not an identified project. This upgrade of here is not an identified project that we've put forward for disaster funding, but I'm happy to have a chat with you. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just move on to the next question that was sent in to Council. The question is there a strategic plan for Baffle Creek and surrounds? If so, is this information publicly available? And what I can share for you today is there is currently no specific strategic plan in place for Baffle Creek and the surrounding area. Should any future planning be undertaken, relevant information will be made publicly available. So to answer that question right now, no. Simon.
Beautiful. Just a quick one. We did talk about it before and covered it for the most part, but how do you provide feedback on the Ulila solar farm? Again, there is a process to that you absolutely can. We do understand that there's significant concerns from community, and to reiterate the fact before, we are passing those along. When we get that feedback, that forms some of the feedback that we give to them, but there is a great strength to having that from more than one source, which is why we're trying to encourage community to also proactively give that feedback as well, especially if you're passionate, especially if you're wanting to provide that clear feedback and making sure that your words get into the right hands for the people who are making those decisions. So just to reiterate, Council has not approved, endorsed or allowed any renewable projects to proceed in the Baffle Creek deep water areas. That is not something that we are able to do. Even if we wanted to, we can't have that say. So the state government will be the ones who approve or disapprove that, and that feedback is absolutely critical to making sure that that's in there. So the Ulila solar farm specifically is in the development phase at the moment. So they are putting together what I spoke about before, that SIA, the social impact assessment. So that is has feedback into that process as well. There's a whole heap of different, gateways that you can get into a project for feedback. The SIA is one of them. This is where they will interact with community and try to interact with community and get feedback from community, but you can proactively do that as well. The responsibility is on them to go and reach out to you, but you do have the ability to reach in as well, and I would encourage you to do that. Because that SIA is then what ultimately informs the impact that is then assessed, and then we're able to do that community benefit agreement based off that as well. So please do make sure that you do communicate with them. Reach out to us if you're ever unsure where to contact or how to contact. We can absolutely provide you with those right contact places and spaces.
There's been a Facebook page set up too, hasn't there, by Marina?
Yeah, there is a couple of different Facebook pages. I would encourage you that they're not the they're not the best way to get the information to the people that actually make the decision-making process. They're a great place for a community conversation and to be able to discuss, and perhaps it's a good spot to put some of those links in there, but don't think just because there's a really good groundswell on a Facebook page that it's getting to the right people in the right spaces. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Where do we stand? So our status, there's so many different things. Look, I'm going to give you, right project in the right place. Absolutely great idea. Each of these has very complex reasons why they're perhaps not in the right area, and I can give you my personal opinion on there, but our role isn't to give our personal opinions into these things. It's,
Gladstone Council, this region, Gladstone Council want these renewable energy projects in this area.
They want them in the right places, and if this is identified as if this is not meeting all of the high standards that it has to reach, then we don't want it here. If it meets all those criteria that it has to reach and it has all of those standards are met, then we are positively engaging with those people, because we do need some of these projects to continue to support the industry that's in our region, but they have to be in the right place. They have to be in the right space, and they also have to do the right thing by the community and making sure that they are supporting the environments that they're in, not just whether it's flood impacts and causeways and waterways and all those things that are super, super important, but also even if they're in exactly the right spot, then how do they support the community that they're going to impact in visual ways or by truck movements and all those sorts of things as well.
The whole point is, what to do with all that, it's a consumer in the end who's going to pay for all this crap, and that is all of us. We're going to pay for it with higher bloody electricity bill. Why can't they just keep coal-fired power station?
I'm a big fan of a coal-fired power station, personally, but again, our role here is to represent community, and I know that's something you're very passionate about, and so we don't want to just give our personal opinions to everything. We want to collect the information and that feedback from community so that we can accurately represent them as well. Yeah.
So in terms of say like Willa, we're a small town, we don't have large population. In terms of us giving feedback, say, compared to even Miriamvale, which has like a high population, how does it stand in terms of actual numbers when we're providing feedback, as opposed to a town with a high population, you can get more feedback going through, which is either negative or positive. So does the numbers in our town actually affect the feedback and what notice is taken with the feedback?
How much notice is taken? No. But I would suggest that even in quantity, quality is really, really important. Just saying, I don't like it, it doesn't actually give them anything to work from. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it shouldn't matter if there's only 2 valid arguments. It should definitely be taken at the same level as if there's 200 valid arguments. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
One thing I state government, disposal of these solar panels when the hailstorm goes through, flood goes through, go to the Widgie, Beluga. They've dug a big bloody hole down there, put them all in the ground. That's their answer to solar panels when they're scattered. They're going to do the same thing here too?
Great question. Great question.
For the state government.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Did you guys ask these questions to the state government?
Yeah.
We have given comprehensive feedback through the very first project that's gone through to state government, was one within our, I'm not sure whether you heard right at the start of the meeting, but we had one of the first projects that went through to state government. So I know that the Mayor and a lot of our leadership team within Council who are responsible for the operations of Council had quite an extensive meeting with state government, and a lot of the information that was given to Council from residents was also compiled and also given to the state government, to my knowledge. So that's why earlier I was really saying, sorry?
For all that information that came back from those questions and that feedback, that's on your website, we can access all of that, so we're not asking the same questions?
I don't think it is. I don't know if it's on our website, but
where can we get it?
Can I find it for you?
I also don't think it would really matter. I think the more, if you're objecting to it, I think the more information why you're objecting, when you do that, put it in. And back to your question about population, I mean, point that out in when you're putting these things in, what the population of the area is, so they can gauge how many people out of that population are objecting or are for the project.
Really important too that when you are making your letters and your submissions that you are following the protocols that the state government are wanting, because you can do a whole lot of work, and if you're not following the guidelines to the state government, they won't submit it. So it is really important to be, when you are advocating and doing this, that you do please follow the guidelines, because I would hate anyone to be doing all that type of work and it not being submitted properly to the state government, or them not saying it's not done properly and just push it to the side. That's not what we want happening.
I've been told that Baffle Creek is the largest catchment, natural catchment. It's the most pristine in the southern hemisphere. We live on a nature refuge, and we have access to the national parks, etc. Those people. Would they be a stakeholder in this particular electricity?
Yes, I believe that they've made an extensive submission to the state government. Yeah.
Can I ask if there's any submissions being made for wind farms in our area? You hear this?
No, I haven't seen one come across. Not at this point. Doesn't mean that they can't.
No.
But I haven't seen anything.
A lot of it is because a lot of it is the solar and the BESS, which is your battery.
We have seen a significant
energy.
increase in the BESS applications over the recent 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, to answer that one, no. Doesn't mean that they won't come through, but no, not currently. Yep.
Cool. The next question was kind of tied into that same question, and I don't want to just brush over it, but it was the question of why is council intent on allowing renewables into this area of the region? Not to reiterate the same point too many times, but we are not intent on doing anything in this space. We really want to make sure that the right people have the right information to make those decisions, and it's really, really important to us that all of those criteria are met. So if we don't see those criteria being met, we will also make that noise, and we will also be the first ones there to make a big alarm if there is not certain things being met that are expectations or legislations that need to be followed. But basically, our position on this is that every single project, as I said before, has to meet every single standard. And if it's not, then it's not the right project and it's not the right place for it. Jacob. A school bus route.
I'm not really sure what the school bus route question is about, but I'm guessing it's the condition of the roads. So I mentioned it earlier, the school bus route is the collector road. We need to prioritise that over the minor roads with farming industry. So those ones with significant damage, we've just went ahead and started fixing them. Beyond that funding, we've just said, hopefully we'll get the funding, let's just get it fixed. It's a priority. We're going to have to fix it regardless. That is something we need to look at down here. There's a lot of school kids in a lot of districts, and for the state school, you have to go to Rosedale. It's a lot of connecting roads. It's not we can just get onto a highway and go. It's a lot of little arterial roads putting into the local connector. So that is one I'm going to map out. I couldn't find a map when I was told this was coming.
Sorry, do you choose that route?
No. It's the schools will choose the routes, and the bus drivers will basically give me a call and go, I can't get down that road.
Do you know the number and where they are by that form that we fill out?
I haven't seen that, but I was looking for it before I come here, actually, where all the school buses go. I could make a good guess.
Find out of Carl though.
Yeah, I can have a chat to him, yeah.
No, I'm not asking, I'm asking, like, for the funding and where you go, you need to know where the kids are.
Correct, but the kids, obviously, once they get older, they'll move on, and then a new bus route will... Yes. So what I'll prioritise is your loop road, Fingerfield, and there is a loop road, and then we'll work on your little Pacific, Capricornia, Matchbox.
You've got to go right down the east, but get
Yeah.
smooth right because the road is shite.
Yep, I've heard that. We've got it on the agenda just to go and get it fixed.
Well, tell your roller drivers, put the machine in vibrate, don't think it's speedway.
Okay, no, that is good information. If that's not happening, we provide a water truck, a roller, and a grader with every single team.
Road driver had set stage 3 ready for bitumen.
Yeah.
Roller drivers come through and turn it to shite.
But I will preference this. The team down here is very passionate and very skilled. They are very skilled operators down here, and they take a lot of pride in their work. I will challenge that.
Have a look at the road down here.
I will go have a look at the road.
When water is graded, there's a big wet spot in it.
So that's not necessarily their problem. That is a subgrade problem.
They didn't fix it.
Because we haven't given them the tools to fix it. We need to cut that out, put sub-base in.
And put their blade over the top.
Yes, I haven't given them the excavator, the rock to go fix it. So we're working on speed, time equals money here. So we've got to just keep going, and then those areas need to be allocated to actually getting repaired. So the subgrade, you do need to rip it out. You need to fix the drainage, otherwise it's just going to happen again.
And the key word was they do need to rip it out.
Yes.
They put their rippers down and they can do the roads properly. But even all the corrugation, but I've seen them drive over it, not even have their rippers down and skim it with their blade.
You shouldn't have to, but please just let me know if you do see it.
I've had a toe-to-toe argument with one of your foremen doing it.
Matt Burnett's been told.
But then if it's not in there, like, they'll feel a pothole here and there might be one there, but that's not on their worksheet to fix it, they don't fix it.
Absolute pet hate of mine. If you see that, just let me know. I already had that conversation. Yeah.
Or the whole issue of the corrugation, not filling it in. So some of the roads are nearly 300 mil below, which causes more flooding.
You've hit the money on the head, and they need to kind of get that gravel back out of the drain and put it back on the road, roll it in. There is a process. I work down in Miriam Vale once a week. I'm going to make it a priority to get around here and have a look at these roads and firsthand have a look. Yeah, I've got a Falcon, so it's going to be fun. All right, does that answer the bus routes? Anyone have? Yep. The bus routes. I believe we're just doing some critical roads up near Agnes at the moment. I can't think of the name off Round Hill Road. They're up there. Once they're done there, we'll come down here.
I bought it 43 years ago.
Yep.
And we're on the river side.
Yep.
They got money from the federal government through the council, plus respect there. Then Gladstone took over to the council, and all that money went to the airport.
I have got some money out of this flood works, and I'm trying to put some re-sheets, which is getting more gravel and quality NADA approved gravel road base in, hopefully, but we've got to fix the drainage. The bus routes will be spick. No, look, it's...
We've already done it for 43 years, so like half our lifetime.
I'm going to try and get it approved. We've got a capital team who are prioritising our re-sheets, so I'm going to have a chat to them about... you can't have buses going off-road and not getting kids to school, so yeah, I will prioritise that.
Okay, we'll just keep... If we've got no other questions, we'll keep moving along. So the next question is about waste and recycling. So the question that we received was, can we please have a bigger recycling section instead of all those small yellow bins at the Baffle waste transfer station? So what I can share with you is Council is doing a lot of work in the waste area at the moment. and we're reviewing access to recycling and resource recovery across all of our transfer stations with the aim of diverting as much waste as possible from landfill. This includes considering factors such as cost, access and overall service efficiency for all community. So I suppose we've got a question for you is to help us improve more detailed and accurate response, could you please share a bit more information about the types of waste you are looking to recycle so that our waste program team can provide further support? So if you have some feedback, please come and see me when we go to the conversations at the tables, and I'll write those down and give them back to the team. So just some more information on that. So, and last of all, Simon, you're up.
With all the crime happening and only one road into Baffle Creek, can we have a permanent camera installed? Look, again, this is back to what Jacob was just saying there. We have to try and make our budget do all the things that we're meant to make the budget do. The more things we do outside of our realm, the harder it is to do those things that we actually have to do within it. And so we currently don't operate any security cameras. It is something that some local governments do, and I do understand that some do that, but it's a Queensland Police issue. That's a real blunt story. But the more of that we do, the more funding we need to do it. And if we do it here, we need to do it in many, many different locations, and it becomes a very big expense. We have one exception, which is in the night precinct in the Gundoon Street that was funded during the LNG boom. It's actually nearing end of life, and we're having very real conversations about whether that's continued or not, because it is, again, another expense that we're doing that is not sitting within the remit of what council is actually designed to do, and making sure that we're getting your dollars to go to the things that actually matter, like getting your roads upgraded, graded, just passable in some locations, those sorts of things. Yes?
Can that be incorporated with the flood cameras that you really like to?
The flood cameras? They're a very... Yeah, look, Ken definitely asked the question. I do know they're a very specific, very low quality, for one, but also they only take a photo about every 10 minutes or so, rather than something that's actually usable where you would need to have it feeding all the time and recording somewhere. It starts getting very, very expensive very quickly as soon as you start trying to do CCTV at a level that the courts can actually use. There's no point saying there was a red car. That doesn't help anybody. It doesn't actually get you any more information to the right people.
Quality-wise, it's pretty good. That camera is pretty good.
Yep.
But okay, it's only every 5 or 10 minutes.
Yep.
Updated. But I would say that it could be made a bit easier.
Yeah.
A bit quicker.
Look, I would say if you have genuine, and there are genuine concerns around crime and safety, that is definitely something you should be contacting your state member, because they oversee the police. And if there's something that can be done, that is the right avenue to get that done. As far as your own personal safety, to be honest, the cheapest and most effective way is just getting one of those cameras that have a bit of battery in it, and you can put it somewhere near your gates. Some of those trail cameras and stuff like that are really, really easy for you to do yourself. But once it starts becoming a community asset and it starts all these other processes, it gets very expensive very, very quickly. And it's not something we have any appetite to do at this point.
And when, I suppose from experience, when you have the security cameras, it's really stringent what the courts require and the pixels that are required, and it is hugely expensive. So I just wanted to add that as well. So there's no point just putting a camera in for the sake of having a camera, because it's not going to be submissible in court.
Be a deterrent though, because like there's people in this area that's...
Give you a little bit of feedback on that. I owned a cafe and I had...
No.
Yep.
Something like 4 boats.
Yep.
Households completely stripped out. But if the thieves know that there are...
So to give you a little bit of feedback.
It's through my own experience,
Yes.
through owning 2 businesses
Yes.
which are pretty much open 24/7, does not deter them at all.
I got done 5 times in 1 year, and they were always on camera, and they were always caught within 12 hours, but it didn't stop them coming back and doing it again. So you'd think it would be a deterrent, but there are better ways of doing deterrency, and it's not just cameras. They don't care, to be honest, because they know that they can get away with it. Yeah, so it's a conversation with your state member. If you don't think the police are doing the right thing in this area, or you want more patrols, you want all those sorts of things, that's definitely a conversation to have with your state member, whoever that ends up being, or both of them. Yep. Yep.
He was on security camera. He tracked it all the way to where the car would come from. We found out both people's names were in that car. He contacted the police. Can't help you.
Yep.
He rang me and told me. I said, get on to your local member. He did that, and he said, I can't help you.
Yeah.
So he went to a solicitor.
It's a genuine problem.
The solicitor said, I can't help you.
Yeah, there's a reason why it's making headlines, because it is a real problem, because there's a gap between the experience. Yep, I'm with you. I've lost a lot. Yes, very frustrating, incredibly frustrating. Yes.
I think the lady behind Saskia was.
Yes.
Council on the corporate plan.
Sure.
And your vision statement, where it says, we're connecting communities, we will work with you and for you, supporting the success of your community. Can I ask how come it took you 5 years and hundreds of signatures to make a decision on the BETs at the SES grants? And the same with the car park, why did you take the community help over it? And also, with your responsiveness standard, keep that in a timely manner at the end of that, because most of the projects go over budget. And if you're looking at the footpaths, you have a 10-year plan, and to my calculation, you've only done possibly one footpath.
I am passionate about footpaths. Absolutely. I am very, very frustrated at the level of footpathing that is going on, and is very much topic of conversation. I'm very aware that we are not doing enough in that space.
And I do realise that the corporate plan is ending this year, so...
Yes, so we are very much in the throes of finalising the new corporate plan and updating, changing, adjusting, making sure that's ringing there, making sure that the right information goes into that, because that does guide the way that we do everything. You said a couple of specific examples there in the Beta situation, as well as the car park there. There's lots of nuances to each of those different there. Happy to have the conversation about what happened in each of those different spaces, but they are another very big conversation. Absolutely.
You talk yourself up a lot and to say what you've done, but you never sort of say, even in just one sentence, there is still more we would like to do due to budget constraints or something. So I think sometimes
very valid point.
You need to put down what you haven't achieved.
Yes.
Because maybe someone might actually give you funding for it.
That's a really good point.
Really good point.
If I can add to Councillor McClintock, we actually are in the final stages of our new corporate plan, and one of the real focus points for councillors has been to get the basics right. And that's really important for us. Responsiveness is also part of that as well. With our operational plan reporting, we do tell a story that sometimes we don't achieve it, but there's another theme that's really strong and coming out is speaking normal language and not having that corporate speak. So we are taking that in mind, but it's a really good point that you have. The bee-eaters problem, yes, it was complicated, and sometimes there are things behind the scenes that probably to the public don't look complicated, but they are. So the bee-eater problem has been solved, so that event won't be held at the SES grounds anymore. And with the car park at Agnes, it's almost ready to open. We've just got the landscaping left to do before we can open that public asset. I know. You're talking my language, trust me. Yeah, I hear you. I definitely hear you. But thank you for that really honest feedback. I really appreciate that. Just a time check. We've got about 15 minutes before the end of our forum today. I've been busy trying to get you some answers. So Essendine Bridge, Council's got no knowledge of that being shut in the future. So it's a Transport and Main Roads owned asset, but I just spoke to the General Manager of Operations and he's not heard anything about closing it in the future. So I hope that helps you. And my friend over here with the Deepwater flood study, the community consultation hasn't been collated, so all of the feedback hasn't been collated, which is why you haven't heard anything yet, but there is a plan to take it to council and close the loop with people that have participated. Yeah, the consultation's closed, yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm going to take that piece of information back with me and find out. So I'll come and get your phone number so I can talk to you. And I can't get into the back end of my system to see how many people were consulted. So I'll have to do that with my team and I'll come back to you on that as well. I'm sorry to point. That's rude. Okay. So
can I ask you a question about zoning?
Yes, but I'm probably the worst person to ask it to. But yes, you can.
Give it a go.
We'll have a go.
When I bought my property in 1992, it was zoned white, which means I could clear it. Recently I decided I wanted to clear about half of it and plant something. Unbeknownst to me, the zoning has been changed. How can that be?
Yeah, so zoning is a state, under the planning scheme, we work under the state government. So with zoning, because I was a conveyancer for 30 years in the region, so I do know a little bit about that for clearing purposes. So you would have to talk to the Department of Resources and Land Management in Bundaberg, I think is the closest office. So they're the ones you need to speak to about the change in the vegetation.
Oh, they do. They consult every year.
Yeah, that is a state government question, unfortunately. Yeah.
Got one for you. With Australia going through the hard times at the moment, why did council ask for another valuation of people's properties?
We didn't ask for that.
I spent 3 years ago with court against the land department, so yes, council's asked the land department to do valuations. That's what they told me from the boss of the land department.
No, that is not correct. So the state does them and they will do them in different pockets. They've just presented to us recently and told us, which areas have been revalued. And it's to do really with population growth and movement. So unfortunately, it's where those growth pockets are for real estate, sales, and that's when they do them. But it is not something council has requested.
So why is Baffle Creek Deepwater classed as August Waters 1770? Comes under the same banner. That's from the valuation department.
I would say it was to do with the area, the vicinity of the area.
They evaluate us off there.
Matchbox Road.
That was off the land department.
Yeah, they shouldn't value off that. They usually value off what's sold in the area. So I mean, obviously, more properties that are sold. And if they're sort of flagging that, that's when they'll come in and revalue. It's to do with what's selling in your immediate area.
As I said, they valuation department, Canadian General said, they work on Deepwater Baffle Creek, 1770, August Waters, Baffle Creek area. Different postcodes.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's something you have to take up with your local member as well. Unfortunately, it's out of our jurisdiction.
So that's the end of the community questions. Thank you. We've got 15 minutes or 13 minutes before we go. Do you want to have a chat with Jacob, have a chat with the councillors? How would you like to spend your next 15 minutes?
Let's have a chat.
Okay, having a chat. All right, cool. Thank you.